All right. Well, thanks everybody for joining us today. As I mentioned, today we'll talk about how to create a seamless online booking experience for your customers. So, today we'll go ahead and break that into sections. So, first, we'll meet our panelists who are joining us today. We'll talk about what it was like when they were first getting started with their business, some of those challenges that they faced along the way. Second, we'll go through down memory lane and chat through how they managed their inventory and sent out quotes before and after Goodshuffle. Uh, Third, we'll go through the secret ingredients. What is that secret sauce to create a seamless booking experience for your customers? And at the end, we'll have some time for Q&A sessions. Folks who are in headquarters, raise your hand. We will answer those in live time. For anybody else, go ahead and drop those in the chat. All right. We definitely want this to be an interactive session, so feel free to drop in questions in the chat at any point throughout our session. We are really excited that y'all are joining us today. All right. So jumping right in, my name is Araceli, and I am a senior onboarding specialist here at Goodshuffle. I've had the honor and pleasure of working with a lot of you all as you're getting started with Goodshuffle. I've been with Goodshuffle since April of 2024, so I'm coming up on my 1 year. Very exciting stuff. And today I've got Keith from LCA Photo Booth and Lydia from A Touch of Great Events as well. All right, Lydia, I'll start with you. Do you want to go ahead and introduce yourself? Tell us a little bit about your business that you run, the size of your business.
So my name is Lydia Leek. I own A Touch of Gray Events. It's a small company, mostly just me, but it started out as a wedding planning business, and I slowly acquired rental items because in my area we don't have many rental places. So I was having trouble sourcing those things, so I decided to buy my own and start renting them out.
Yeah, that's the way to do it. What about you, Keith?
Awesome. Yeah. So Keith, LCA Photo Booth, St. Louis. So I started it out as I started off actually with one photo booth, and then it actually just grew to many more. Work with a whole bunch of different colleges and things like that. We work with our local baseball team, different corporate clients as well too. So what we do here is we provide more like a luxury experience as well too, more like weddings also too, bar mitzvahs, bat mitzvahs, and things like that as well too. So we started out about a couple years ago, and then it just started off with one photo booth, and to see how it grows as big as it did now it's mind blowing how time fast can go. But we're a small team. We have about 12 employees now, and just added a marketing director. So happy about that. So it's still growing.
Love to hear it. Love to hear it. Thank you both. So this is a question for you both. What inspired you to start your rental business, and what do you think sets you apart from your competitors in the market? Lydia, I'll go to you first.
Um, Well, like I said, there's not a whole lot of people in my market. The closest rental company is about an hour away from me. So I was experiencing high rental, delivery fees, all of that. So I decided to start my own. What was the other part of that question? Oh, competition. Sorry. Um, there's not really a whole lot of competition for me, so I pretty much run the market in this general area.
I am sure a lot of folks are envious of that. What about you, Keith? What inspired you to start your business, and what do you think sets you apart?
Yeah, so I started my business when I was in college, and I was the guy that did the photos at the college parties. So
Okay.
what I did was I actually stopped doing because I had a passion for photography. What I did was I took a break from that and I went to a wedding. I went to my cousin's wedding actually in San Francisco. Went to his wedding, and that's when I seen my first photo booth and I fell in love with it. And I was like, wow, I would love to kind of incorporate that in something that I think that'd be really, really fun for my market.
Mhm.
So a buddy of mine who owned it, he was like, "Hey, you got to come to a trade show with me." And when I went to this trade show out in Vegas, I just was blown away. So that right there definitely motivated me, and I purchased my first photo booth and came to St. Louis, and it definitely was a great choice to make. I feel like what separates me from our competitors here in St. Louis, which it's quite a bit of other photo booth companies as well, is that we just don't provide photo booths. We provide an experience. So we're not just going to come and just drop off a photo booth and leave it with you. We're interactive. We, like I said, we provide luxury events and things like that. We engage with the client and all the guests as well too. So we just kind of make it fun. We stay professional, but we just bring that personality. The Google reviews and everything like that that people leaves us is just amazing, and I'm happy to say. But yeah, so we just try to make that everlasting memory for all our guests and clients who attend, all our events.
Great. I love to hear that. Yeah. All right. Last question here before we move on to the rest of our session. I know a lot of folks are really interested in hearing what the biggest challenge was when you first started out your business. Keith, do you mind giving us some insight there?
I would say for me, one of the biggest challenges when I first started off was to see the value in what I was doing. New to the business, other competitors, thinking like, hey, I purchased this big old photo booth that cost a ton of money. So I'm thinking like, hey, when I get back to my market, I'm going to hit the ground running and everything is just going to be easy peasy. But I had a rude awakening, realized that some of the mistakes that I made early on, um, it just wasn't what I expected. So I had to really prove the quality that I was providing by impacting all the different guests that I interacted with and things like that. Figuring out my pricing. That was big early on, trying to figure out, hey, do I compete with my competitors, or do I go right underneath them? But then I realized, hey, that could be the quickest way to the bottom. So I didn't want to be out of business. Realizing that, having a good marketing strategy plan, just building trust for those clients and continue to build business from them as well too, and just being interactive and bringing that energy to all of those clients that we interacted with. We wasn't providing that at first, but now we are. So those were some of kind of the biggest challenges that we had in the beginning.
Right, right. And even with pricing, I know that when we first started talking, Keith, you mentioned that there were things that you didn't think about charging for, like service fees or like setup fees, or things that you were typically giving out for free now, but you could think about also putting a price tag on it. So I don't think that will ever fully be finalized. But knowing at the beginning that foundation, knowing what you want to charge, and um, that is some great advice. Lydia, what about you? What was the biggest challenge you faced when you were first starting out your business?
I honestly feel like I had a good start to my business, but when I first started in the industry, that was 10 years ago. So I was 18 at the time, working at a venue, and my biggest challenge was that a lot of people didn't trust me because I was so young, and unexperienced. But luckily, when I started my business, my family was very supportive. They invested in my business, so what would have been my biggest challenge would be like the money to start it, to start buying the rentals, all of those things. But luckily, my family stepped up and bought it for me. So
Love that. Love that. That sounds so nice. And I think a lot of business owners can relate to two of those points. Having the funds to start your business at the beginning, not really knowing where to start. Thankfully, here at Good Shuffle, we work with everybody that's on every type of journey, whether they have no inventory items or they've been in business for decades. So hopefully, um, I'm glad that Good Shuffle can ease some of that anxiety for you all as you're getting started, but as you're growing your business as well. Awesome. So Now I want to go into what your experience was before you were working with Good Shuffle, and then we'll talk about what that experience looks like now. So I want to go down memory lane and talk about specifically, Keith, what types of tools or software were you using to track your inventory and booking?
So before I came over to Good Shuffle, some of the tools that I was using before, like Lydia mentioned before, just basic spreadsheets, calendar apps, things like that to keep track of bookings. I mean, that worked early on because I didn't know exactly what direction I wanted to do and route I wanted to go, but it just became a headache after a while. And then, so as I started to get more clients and grow my base and just explore other methods, when I went to a trade show, I did use a company called Booth Book. They were strictly geared towards photo booth owners. Although the tool that I was using with them was really, really great, but it didn't have the specific needs that I was looking for until
Right.
I came to Good Shuffle. So one of the things that I really enjoy um, versus using them than using Good Shuffle is the website integration is really, really huge for me. I think managing your inventory is very, very important. It just make everything sync and make it more everything just streamline it, just an easier process overall. Um, I had a client that actually booked an event with me. They were just like, I love how I could just press the little heart button and it just goes right into my thing and it sends everything. So I think the website integration has been really, really helpful for us using that on our website as well too.
Absolutely, yeah. And towards the end, we'll also touch on the website integration a little bit more, how it's been so successful for you both as you both are currently using it. But those are great points, Keith. Is that a similar story to you for you, Lydia? Were you using, I know you mentioned spreadsheets in your brain.
As Keith was talking, it made me remember I had the inventory, but I the only reason I knew what I had was because it was in my brain.
Got
Um,
it.
so I don't think I even had it on a spreadsheet. My process was kind of like if someone wanted rentals, they would call me and we would talk about what they wanted. And I was using HoneyBook for the planning side of my business. And so I would make up a proposal in HoneyBook and I was having to put in each individual item and I was coming up with prices off the top of my head because I was like, I don't know what I charge for this because I don't remember what I charged last time for this, so I was just making it up as I went along.
I hear you. I hear you. And I know you're using HoneyBook, you're using other software. How were you collecting those payments, Lydia, before?
Um, I think I started out with HoneyBook. I think I was always taking payments through HoneyBook, and doing the contract and everything through HoneyBook, but it takes a pretty hefty credit card fee.
Got it. Got it. Um, and can we talk about what were some pain points for you both before Good Shuffle? What were things that you were kind of set you off the edge? You knew that you needed something really, really good. What was that breaking point for you, Keith?
I would say just managing the contracts. Like I said, I used a previous service and everything like that. But sometimes when you tailor it to certain individuals, like she said, it was just expensive fees, and then sometimes the contract um, just wasn't as wordy as I would like with the templates. The clients that I used, they were from Canada, so a lot of their stuff was just completely different than what we use in Good Shuffle. Just for us, like the invoicing and just keeping track of the inventory was huge. So I would say it was hard to stay organized overall. So those were kind of some of the things that I feel like I was missing in the beginning.
Yep.
And, when I switch now, it just makes it a little bit more easier, where I could kind of relax and then just kind of send everything out to the guests or the clients.
Yeah, yeah. Makes total sense. So, Lydia, how has your experience been since switching to Good Shuffle Pro? And you can be honest.
I love Good Shuffle Pro. I love that it kind of helps me separate the planning from the rentals. I especially love the website integration because I don't have to necessarily have that call that I was having. So I got some of my time back, since people can just go on and pick out what they want and send it to me, and I can send the quote back, and I'm done until I have to deliver it. So
Yeah. Yeah.
it definitely gave me back a lot of time.
Love that. Love that. What about you, Keith?
I would just say for me, it's been a game changer.
Yep.
It streamlines all aspects of my business. So, like she said, from the sending out the quotes, the feature where you can just actually you can email the client back and forth in Goodshuffle and just everything, and just always communicating and staying in contact with them. For that, any changes that you have to make, the templates and everything, you can just save. It's just so much easier for me. So I find it, like I said, it's a huge part of where we're at now in my business.
Yeah, absolutely. And I remember when you started back in November, Keith. I think a lot of the sentiment around today is that as a business owner, you're always trying to find the right time to transition to a software that you know will fix all of those pain points, that will get you what you need. But there's never going to be a great time. And I remember in December when you and I were starting to work together, you were in the thick of it with the holiday parties, trying to build out your website, fix all of that. So we were meeting weekly, every other day, etc. But I think that the most important thing is sticking it out, knowing that once you are done and once you set up your account, you will be set up for success. And like you said, it being a game changer, I'm sure you are happy now that you put in all that effort and all that work a couple of months ago.
Absolutely. I mean, it's just a lot more user friendly. And like I said, the automation aspect is just take up so much of the time that I was spending before. It just now I just feel more organized and efficient now.
Yeah,
Like
that's great. That's great. So, what does it take to create this seamless booking process for your customers? So, we created a recipe of 4 steps that will create this seamless experience. These are going to be best practices to ensure that that booking experience is as painless as possible for your customers. So, that first one being streamlining your inventory management. So before you can send off those quotes or start investing in new inventory, you want to start by ensuring that your inventory is well organized. Whether you are going to track it down in a spreadsheet for the very first time and not let that live in your head, um, or you are simply just going to start in Goodshuffle, you're going to add in every single thing that you have in one go. You can do that as well. But in Goodshuffle, you want to make sure that you're tracking your inventory with clear descriptions, images, and pricing that fits you and your business needs. This sounds like a no-brainer, but in an effort for you to have all of these great quotes and closing business, you need to have your house organized, and that will start with your inventory. You can also tackle on additional supplements like using tags and categories to search and sort your inventory, not only a Goodshuffle, but on your website when you integrate with Goodshuffle. Um, you can also sleep at night knowing that you will not ever be double booked again. So, first step, streamlining your inventory, making sure that those ducks are in a row, using Goodshuffle as that tool to level up your business, whether you're just getting started or maybe you're transitioning from another platform. Keith, do you have any tips for making your rental items stand out with descriptions or images? I know you've got incredible photos on your website.
yeah, I would say that definitely make sure that like you said, have great photos of the product, whatever you're trying to provide, because that's what the clients want to see, especially if they see it in person and they go to the site, they want to make sure that they're getting the same thing, or vice versa, they go to your site and then when you come up and show up with the inventory, they just want to make sure that's what's on the site that they're ordering. So I would say definitely great pictures, great description as far as with pricing, as far as what that entails or whatever packages that you might have, and just make sure that it's all syncing up together with what's on Goodshuffle.
Right. Great tip. Lydia, what about you? How have you organized and showcased your inventory more effectively? Especially now that I know you're transitioning from the wedding planning side of things to wanting to transition fully to rentals.
I think one of the biggest things that has helped me is kind of knowing the wedding planning side, what people are looking for. A lot of people don't know what they want, so I do have collections on my website. So, like, I have a boho decor collection, a classic collection, some of those major ones that people are wanting right now and trending right now.
Yeah.
And they can just click on that collection and they can add the whole thing to their wish list if they want to. And that's really helped people kind of visualize it because there's several pictures on there of actual weddings that I did with that decor. So they can see it laid out kind of like a Pinterest board.
I love that. I love that. I know that that was also something that a lot of folks were bringing up. I'm sure customers are coming to you with their Pinterest board idea and hoping that you can make a miracle happen. Um, so yeah, very cool to hear. All right. So step two, using quote templates in Goodshuffle for faster bookings. So Goodshuffle has created templates for upcoming payment reminders, quotes, contracts, and so much more. Those live within your templates tab. Leveraging those professional created templates allows you to focus on what's important. That is closing the deal. So it's one less thing that you have to worry about. You can, of course, personalize it, make it your own, add your own type of branding to it as well. Maybe add a little story about you and your business, attaching it to that template. I know folks have done that in the past as well. But using what Goodshuffle has already created for you just puts you one step ahead, one less thing that you have to think about. In Goodshuffle, you're also able to set up quote expiration dates with quote expiration reminders for customers to push them over the finish line. So you can also set up payment due reminders based on the cadence that you think feels fair for your customers. You obviously don't want to be super pushy or annoying, whether it's daily or weekly when a payment is due. But all of these you can choose to turn off as well. Lastly, once you send off that quote, you can collect that signature in just 3 clicks. So those contracts will automatically be saved to your project files and you don't have to remember to upload that contract or chase a customer down for a physical signature. So we've done everything in our power to make it as easy and as fast for you. One pro tip here is that you can also collect on-site in-person signatures from your customers as well. If there happens to be something last minute, let's say for instance that changes, you want to collect that on-site signature, you're able to do so as well. Does Lydia or Keith, do either of you have a story about a digital proposal that you sent over, a digital quote that you sent over that led to an instant booking?
I mean, if I'm as I'm transitioning, if I'm the planner on it and I send them a quote for rentals, they normally go ahead and do it.
Right, right, right.
I would say for me, we just did a wedding show over the weekend, so we had a lot of people who booked us at the wedding show.
Oh,
So we was able to. Someone from my team actually had Good Shuffle pulled up where they kind of put at least the name, the date of the wedding and things like that, and they were able to um, book right then and there. Some of them won raffles. They did a raffle and won a drawing and won like 10% off one of the packages. So we was able to at least book 2 clients on Sunday. So that's the only time that I can think of recently that that it took place.
I love that. I love that. And I remember, I know you're at those trade show events a lot, Keith. I remember when we were working on discounts, You were looking to track how many leads you generated from those trade shows by creating a discount that was labeled for that specific trade show. So you could go back and look at that usage and see how many times was it added to a quote, who did I meet from this event, was it successful, was it worth my time? Um, I remember that that was something that we worked on in December as well. Yep. All right, perfect. So step 3, simplifying payment and invoicing. So if you're just getting started, maybe you haven't been able to process credit card ACH payments in the past. So with Goodshuffle, you are able to collect signature and collect their deposit in the same breath. So as they are looking at that quote for the first time, in 3 clicks, they will be able to submit that deposit. With that Google Pay and that Apple Pay functionality that was recently added, they can even just pay for it using their mobile wallet. If they are anything like me, I hate taking out my credit card. If I can't do it through Apple Pay, I'm not paying it and I just will not move through with it. So I know that a lot of our customers feel the same way. With our flexible payment plans, whether you are customizing those payment plan options to your different types of customers, or whether you want to offer everyone the flexibility to pay in separate installments, you can create one or you can create multiple payment policies that fit you and your customers' needs. Lastly, every time your customer makes a payment, they will receive an automatic payment confirmation. This is huge because you don't have to download that invoice, send it over to them to give them that receipt. They won't be wondering if the payment went through. You know, sometimes it'll tell you right in the screen, but then you're always questioning, did it actually go through? Is my event booked? Am I secure? That automatic payment confirmation will go through to your customer. Those are also customizable. So if you want to edit that payment confirmation, you're able to do so in the templates as well. So those can fit your brand, they can fit your personality too. Lydia, how has offering online payments improved your client experience?
I very rarely have to chase a client for a payment. It's actually funny sometimes because I don't really know when people are supposed to be paying me. I just let it do its thing.
Right,
And so they'll like text me and be like, I'm gonna pay you, I promise. I got the payment reminder. And I'm like,
Love it.
even know you got the payment reminder, but that's great. Looking forward to seeing that money come through. I don't notice it until it tells me it's overdue.
Right, right. Um, what about you, Keith? How has that offering online payments improved your client experience?
It definitely has improved for us, definitely. And I can relate to what Lydia said because sometimes you could just look at your email and you're like, wait, what? Somebody signed the contract or somebody made a payment and
Mhm.
so you seeing all those and you don't have to worry about, like she said, calling and chasing a client down and
Right.
things like that too. I did have that same experience where someone called and say, "Yeah, I promise you, I'm gonna do too as well." I think another game changer for me is being just the different options that they can pay. I think one of the big, huge ones for me is especially when you start getting up really, really high into those packaging that we offer the financing option. So that was a huge game changer for me. So, people was like, wow, so you mean to tell me I still can afford to be able to get the package that I want and I don't have to worry about paying the full balance? You sure can. So that was a huge game changer for us. So I think we even got more bookings for that, and a lot of my clients really enjoy that. Especially when they want to add a photo booth company or different services that we provide.
Yeah, and you're talking about the affirm option, right, Keith? Where
Correct.
they able to break down. Hmm. So Good Shuffle allows you to be able to have that option turned on for your customers. So if y'all are not familiar with Affirm, it allows your customer to essentially be able to make that bigger purchase or be able to make that bigger package. Affirm will split it up for them in 4 payments. You will get, as a business owner, you will get that money up front. So if there are any delays in payment on the customer end to a firm and the customer, that is now their problem. So as the business owner, you are protected, and it's a great option for those bigger corporate deals or bigger packages that you offer as well. Lastly, with payment reminders, what is typically your approach, Keith, to payment reminders without feeling too pushy?
So with me, the system does it. So it's great with reminding the clients, hey, you have a payment due. And one thing that I have to realize is that because I deal with a lot of colleges and different universities, is
Right.
sometimes I'll get payments that you have to record offline. So mainly I'll get reminders that say, hey, I'll get the customer that'll contact me to say, hey, did we take care of this? Did you not get your money? Because I'm consistently getting reminders. So I have to make sure that I go in and record that offline payment. So the system does a great job with just, it's a well-oiled machine where it just does everything for you, where it just sends those reminders to them, and then you just have to remember if you're gonna record it offline, or if they're paying with a credit card, or those different options, Apple Pay and things like that. So for me, it's been extremely helpful for me because I don't really have to do nothing with the reminders.
Yeah. Is that a similar story for you, Lydia?
It is. I don't think I've had to remind anyone to make a payment since using Goodshuffle.
That's amazing. I love to hear that. Music to our ears. All right, so step number 4. You have been hearing this time and time again throughout our sessions today. What is going to put the bow on creating a seamless booking experience? And that will be optimizing your online booking process through the Goodshuffle website integration. So, integrating your website with Goodshuffle will allow customers to look through your inventory on your website. They will be able to add items to that wish list, and that wish list will then create a quote in Goodshuffle for you to then be able to send that off to your customer. So that is going to be the last step to ensure that you can create this seamless booking experience for your customers. You can create customizable information up front too. So maybe you want to know where their event is taking place. Is it an outside, outdoor, indoor event? You know that if it's outdoor, maybe it's going to require some additional things or maybe some labor on that front as well. Lydia and Keith, I know you both have the website integration active in your accounts right now. How has the wish list feature changed the way that you interact with your customers? Lydia, I'll go to you first.
Which I kind of mentioned this earlier, it kind of cuts down on how much I have to interact with them, which sounds really bad, but
Yep.
it really takes that time that I was taking to be on the phone for 30 minutes and kind of giving more of a personalized experience. I actually turned that into a service if they wanted to have a design call.
Mm-hmm.
I did that instead of having to be on the phone with them. So really, it's just they go online. If they do call me or inquire through my website, I send them to the wish list. They heart everything that they want. Most of the time, they don't put the right quantities in there, but I usually get that from them and I just fix it on the quote and send it out.
Yep.
But it's really made it a much more efficient process for me.
Yes, and that is a great point. You know, maybe they don't know how many balloon arches they might need or things in general. So as they submit that wish list, you are still in control of that sale. So as the expert, you are now going to recommend that they actually need 3 of those arches to fulfill their vision.
Mhm.
Or maybe they're going to need less than they actually initially thought, but you are in control of that sale. You are the expert and you will recommend and guide the customer. And until you put that seal of approval, you will be able to send that off. What about you, Keith? How has the wish list, the website wish list feature changed the way that you interact with your customers?
I just think that it's gives you a general idea of what they're looking for. So when you have that first consultation with them, you can kind of see that you don't have to you kind of get a general idea of what they're looking for, what type of package that they're in, and then like you mentioned before, if they need additional lighting or whatever it is that you want to potentially upsell, maybe they need a videographer or things like that. So you could just include those additional items. But the wish list for me, it just gives you a base general idea of kind of like where you can kind of build on top of that as well and just kind of help close the sale. So I think it's really good that to have that on your website so you can kind of have those talking points with the client.
To hear it. Love to hear it. What are the most common questions that customers ask you when they're submitting that wish list, and how do you handle those efficiently? Keith, I'll go to you.
Well, for me, they when they submit the wish list and then we follow up my team. I think some of the questions that they have is basically about the payment aspect of it, or they might say, well, I want to add certain different things, or we can build a custom package based off this. Or they might say, hey, I selected this one, but I selected the selfie booth, but I mean to select your mirror booth. So it's different things that we can maybe change and adjust. So it might be something that they thought they might need it at the time, but then we'll switch it to something else. Or it might be, hey, besides doing this, we want to get some custom props or things like that. So just adding and maybe changing a couple items around.
Mm-hmm. What about you, Lydia? What are some of those common questions that folks ask you when they're submitting those wish lists, and how do you handle those?
I don't usually have a whole lot of questions when they submit. I do usually just respond in Goodshuffle um, in their project, but for the most part, it is about like saying, I don't know how many I need, or I don't have my final guest list, so I don't know how many plates I need, or whatever. Um, and then usually I'll put in a random, just a guesstimate of what I think that they need. And then I'll usually, if they really don't know, I'll have a call with them and say, I've worked at this venue before. I think you need this many vases or whatever. And once you get your final guest count, we can change that final number for you.
Yep. Awesome. Awesome. All right. Um, well, we wanted to have some time for some questions. So, let's see what folks have been sending in the chat, and we'll go ahead and answer those as well. Doop, doop, doop. Are there any questions in headquarters that we can answer first?
Any questions, everyone? Nothing yet here, Sully.
Sounds good. All right. Quote templates. Yes, Ramon, I saw that question. Thank you, Jake, for sending that article. You are 100% able to use the templates they're going to live under messages, and you can customize those based on your brand, based on your personality as well, your business, and make those your own. Where can I learn more about customizing forms to gather more information during the wish list process? So to clarify, when you are adding things to your wish list, you're able to set up your screen in a way to where you're able to collect more information as they're adding those items to the wish list. So they would heart those answers, like, is this an outdoor? Is this an indoor event? They would heart the answers to that. So that way that entire information feeds over to the project. Happy to chat more about that as well. You can create a session with your onboarding specialist or your customer success manager as well. I don't see the Apple Pay option in the billing payment sections. Great question. That is automatically turned on. So customers will have that option automatically. So as they are getting ready to pay in that third tab in the flow process, you don't have to think about it. It will just be an option, just like selecting ACH or credit card option. All right. Doop, doop, doop. Great question, Carlos. How can I secure the credit card for potential damages? So that credit card information is saved on to that customer profile. Um, so you will be able to charge potential damages on file. I also recommend including that in your terms and conditions. So that way your customers are aware that if there are potential damages, you have that fine print there. All right. Perfect. Well, thank you so much, Lydia and Keith, today for joining us. Really appreciate y'all taking the time. I know y'all are busy, going right into your busy season as well. So I really appreciate y'all taking the time today. But thank you all for joining us.
Thank you.
Yeah.